welcome to Oh Yes It Is, the show where I take my mates from the world of entertainment and ask them questions all about their life, how they got started, where they're going, etc. Today I generally have one of my favourite people I've ever worked with. I love this woman to pieces. It's Natasha Hoeberigs. How you doing, Tash?
Oh, George, I'm good. I'm good. And how are you today?
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
No problemo. I'm
Yeah,
comfortable. I'm comfortable.
yeah, definitely one of the weirdest messages I've had just before we start recording. You text me going, "I'm wearing a hoodie. Is that all right?" Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, I expected people in suits on this show.
All naked.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you've seen the other episodes then? Now,
What kind of
now,
show is this?
now, I know you as an amazing actress, a brilliant singer, but for you, where did it all start?
Started in the theatre, mate. It started in the theatre. I'm originally from New Zealand, and when I was a kid, I was very lucky to, I think I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. I was lucky enough to see a performance of Cirque du Soleil's Alegria because they had toured to New Zealand, where I'm originally from, and I got to go see that show. And after seeing that show, I went, that's it. That's exactly what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I've had my sights set on being in theatre ever since, and I'm still doing it. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started for me. I just was so inspired by, such a spectacle on stage, and I just thought, what, like, I can't believe people get to do that for work. That is exactly what I want to do. And I made sure that I would stop at nothing to get to that point. So I just trained in acting and singing and dancing and comedy and everything
Yeah,
basically.
wherever you could find.
Whatever I could find, over the course of my upbringing, my schooling, attended Amdram societies and tried to get into every, musical on the side that I could, or every choir group, or every drama group at school. And yeah, it was just something that I have always loved and have kind of been obsessed with, to be honest. I am that typical theatre kid.
But what was the first professional job that you did then in the theatre?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question because first professional job as an entertainer, I would have to say started when I was around 14, 15, and I started gigging, essentially going somewhere and singing some songs or doing some music and getting paid to perform. But in terms of a theatrical job, my first professional theatrical job was in a Hello Kitty musical
Of
at
course.
Universal Studios Japan, of all places. So
Oh
I
wow.
I was at the age of 19, 20 years old. I went to Osaka, Japan to work at Universal Studios as this lead singer vocalist in Hello Kitty's Mix the World, it was called. And it was a really cute show that integrated pop songs with Hello Kitty's characters, and they all sort of got together and sang these songs and went on a different sort of journey around the world and looked at different cultures and costumes and clothing, so to speak. And it was kind of like a fashion show around the world. It was very, very cute.
The hell of a first job.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very, very cool. I don't know if it was luck. I don't know if I happened to be in the right place at the right time, but I saw the audition come up, and this is, we're going back a few years now, back when the internet was not as popular as it is today. And I happened to be surfing the web in the library, and I saw this company was doing some auditions in Australia where I lived at the time, and I went, oh, okay, well that's happening on this date, and I'm going to go to that audition and just see what happens. And lo and behold, I stayed the whole day, and then they asked me to come back the following day, and then I didn't hear anything for a couple of months, and then I got a job offer. So it was kind of random, but it was exciting, and that kind of kicked it all off for me. And yeah, been doing it ever since.
So how long were you out in Japan for then?
13 months, just over
Oh
a
wow.
year. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they
And I didn't know any of the language. Um, and I was so young. Hopefully I still am.
so recently.
Yeah, just last year. And And just it was the most amazing learning experience because I had an opportunity to be immersed in a culture that was so far into my own, but people were so
Yeah,
kind in wanting to show us how they live their lives in Osaka, and just learning about the kind of day-to-day rituals and the way of life and how people get around and how they eat and how they interact with one another. It was so foreign to what I knew, but I'm so
yeah,
glad I had that experience when I was so young because it kind of was it was sort of the prompt. It gave me the impetus to sort of want to go and travel further and see more of the world,
yeah.
see what the rest of, I guess, the performing arts sort of industry across the world had to offer. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I know you through Panto. So, how did you
Uh-huh.
get started through that
Oh
then?
no, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, generally, that's the first time someone's made that joke on this show. I'm very thankful.
Wait, what do you mean no one else has said that yet?
No. Yeah, I know. And given the name of the show, yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah, so we do know each other from Panto. Gosh, when did we do pantomime together, George? That would have been about 4 years
2021.
ago, 5 years ago.
2021, yeah, it's the first Panto after lockdown. Yeah, it's mental. Yeah, I know how long ago it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. And that was such a crazy year because, well, for a multitude of reasons, really. We'd come out of a worldwide pandemic, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And we also had a little bit of an unfortunate happenstance there where our show run was cut short, wasn't it?
Oh, very, very much so. Yes.
Yeah, don't know if you wanted to touch on that one in this interview, but that was a unique experience.
Well, the next question I'm going to ask is generally, when has it ever gone wrong for you? So I guess that could count as it going massively wrong.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we could always yeah, we could tap into that. That was such a it was such a wonderful experience because I think even though so for everyone who wants a bit of context, it was a show run that was meant to be for about a month. And unfortunately, we were only given the opportunity to do something like 8 or 10 shows, was it, George?
Yeah, something like that, about a week or week and a
Yeah, it
bit.
was
Yeah.
just over a week. And that was not, scheduled to happen. We were suddenly shut. I think it was actually in the middle of a show as well. It wasn't,
Yeah, I remember. I think it was like a free show day. We'd done the first two, just by getting ready for
yes.
like the third show or something, and then it was like, no, go home.
Was
It's
it in the
all
middle of
cancelled. Yeah, and
yes, it was in the middle of the day. And,
all we got
and
told was a substance has been found. That's what we got told.
yeah, so we were in this theatre doing this wonderful pantomime run of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Of course, I was one of the dwarfs.
I was Snow White. Yeah.
Of course, of course. Uh, and we were suddenly told to stop everything and evacuate the theatre, and we thought, gosh, what's happened? Is there an emergency? And so most of the cast went across the road to the pub, and we all sort of sat in there and waited to find out what was happening next. But we were then informed that the theatre had to be closed very quickly because they'd detected some asbestos or some
Yeah.
substance, wasn't it, in the building, asbestos,
Yeah.
and it was harmful to humans. So they said, nope, we've got to evacuate everyone, and no one's allowed to return. And I remember going, oh gosh, I've got to go back and get all my things out. And they said, okay, you can go in quickly and retrieve your things, and then we're shutting the
Yeah.
show for the rest of, well, for the foreseeable. And of
Yeah.
course, that was that. We never got to finish our show run. What a shame.
Yeah. It's like I remember when it all kicked off and everyone was messaging me going, "Oh, you shut down due to COVID." Like, no, it's asbestos.
No.
Remember that thing in the 90s that everyone got rid of? Yeah, that's what we got.
Gosh, I went, I think some people are still finding asbestos in different buildings and whatnot today. I think it was quite commonly used in theatres.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
It's mental. Yeah. Like, and we had such a great cast, like
oh, we
obviously,
did. Well,
yeah,
that was the beautiful thing about the show is that although we were there for such a short period of time, we made such great connections and great
yeah,
friendships with people. And we had a whale of a time, didn't we? And the company were really good to us. And yeah, I just have the most fond memories of that, even though it was so short-lived. And of
yeah,
course, made so many friends out of it. But and we've stayed
yeah.
friends ever since. So it's
Oh
been
God, yeah,
great.
yeah. And same with a woman called Sarah, who I'm really close to now, and know you know as well. So shout out to her. Like, yeah, we've become really close text most days because of that job, and it's just mental. If like I can only imagine what it would have been like if we'd done the whole run. Uh,
I wonder if we'd have been utterly exhausted by the end, or if we'd have been, saying, "Come on, let's make sure that this is longer and let's string
oh
it out
yeah,
more," or if we'd all gotten sick of each other, or we'd have been batting heads by the end, and who
the
knows?
spirit Tash.
Who knows? Who knows?
So,
Who
has a
knows?
gig ever? And has any other gigs ever gone wrong for you at all? Or
Oh, I mean, yes. Yes, there have been a few. Ah, gosh, where to begin? I'll give you a couple. I don't want to ramble on all day about these.
that
Um,
take as long as you like.
no, one of which, well, I was in a production of the Rocky Horror Show, actually just over the last year, which was amazing, touring the entirety of the UK.
Oh
We had
wow,
a stint in the West End, but I do remember that there were a couple of venues. It was in the middle of winter time, and this would have been winter, December 2024 into 25 January.
yeah.
And we were in Liverpool, which is a very rainy city, I have come to learn, in December and January. Before the snow started, it was just so wet the entire season. And we were mid-show doing, the time warp as you do in Rocky.
Yeah. That's,
And then we started to feel leaks coming from above us. And of course,
no.
what ended up happening is because it was so wet and the weather had been so bad, the Liverpool, what theatre were we in?
Empire.
I think it was the Everyman Playhouse, Liverpool
Yeah.
Playhouse, is where we were. We just had a leak, and the entire set got completely drenched. Of course, the
Jeez.
show was stopped and didn't
Yeah,
for the rest of the night, and actually got cancelled the following day as well
yeah.
because all of our sound equipment got completely soaked and wet.
No.
Just yeah, it was crazy, 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 crazy. So, when people say, "Oh, British weather," they're not exaggerating. Can be terrible.
Yes.
Another time where we had a bit of a mess up on stage. Oh, yes. Okay, okay. I did a production of Grease the musical some years back, and I was playing the character Rizzo, who is a member of the Pink Ladies. If anyone doesn't know the film, she's a high school sort of rebel, and she's got her gang of friends called the Pink Ladies, and welcomes Sandra Dee, this Sandy character, into this gang. And anyway, there was a scene where she and the other Pink Ladies are having a conversation with the T-Birds. They're sort of essentially boyfriends. And I just completely blanked and I completely forgot my lines in one of the scenes that we were doing. We've done the show about 100 times or something up to
Yeah.
that point. Sometimes you're thinking, oh gosh, like yes, we're getting through the show and it's going great, but then, you know, oh, oh, where am I
What
in the
happened?
show? Oh gosh,
Yeah.
where are we? Okay. So of course my brain had to switch back on and go, oh yes, and I responded with what I thought the line was. Um, and from memory, it was something along the lines of I was meant to say, oh, she's little Sandra D or Sandy D or something along those lines, but I completely forgot the character's name.
Oh no.
And so I just went, oh, she's just little. And I decided to come out with this sort of gibberish warble, and the whole audience cracked up laughing, and everyone on stage started laughing because they were going, "Oh, no, because Tasha just had an aneurysm or something." It was very embarrassing, but I
uh,
I don't know how I recovered from that. I think everyone just
how
sort of
do
laughed,
you?
and then we
Yeah.
kind of moved on, and they just looked at me sideways. But these things happen. We're only human,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
it's inevitable that after doing a show for so many performances and whatnot, you kind of start to lose your mind a little bit. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
was a
going back.
little embarrassing considering that's a very well-known show and the character Sandy is a very well-known character. But anyway, I'd lost my mind that day.
Love it, brilliant. Well, going back to Rocky Horror very briefly. That was the last
Yeah.
time we saw each other in person when we have to be in Sheffield at the same time. 'Cause I remember the finish.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause I remember finishing. I was in the panto there. I remember finishing rehearsals, getting on the bus, and so I get this text from you, and it's a video of me, and I was like, "What? What? Why? What?"
Yes,
And
because
for
our
context,
theatres
we yeah,
were next door to each other, weren't they?
yeah,
And
just happened to be the same place, same time.
yeah, that was so cool, wasn't it? Well, actually, no, it was what was the situation? I believe you were rehearsing for
Yeah,
the
for the
pantomime
panto.
that was about to go into that theatre that
Yeah,
I was in that week. So yeah, it was
yeah.
very cool. Very, very cool.
Just getting a random video of me going, "Well,
You're like,
where are
what?
you?"
What? I was like, I
Yeah.
thought that was you.
So, like, of all the shows that you've done over the years, what's like one of the best ones, or what's one of the best singing gigs that you've done? Because I know you're a singer as well.
Uh, it's so hard to choose one. I love storytelling and I love playing complex characters and characters that have real heart. And I think for me, it might sound cliched, but for me, it's do I want to say this? Yeah, I do. It would have to be doing the musical Wicked, but it's purely because I was really lucky in the sense that I got to understudy a role as well as play a role. So I did this show back in Sydney in Australia in 2016. I was in the ensemble, like a chorus, and I also portrayed a character called the Mother. And then on certain performances, as I was an understudy to the lead role of Elphaba, I got to portray the role of Elphaba, which is the Wicked
Wow,
West.
nice.
And it was just really cool because one, it was a show that I'd always dreamt of doing ever since I was a child, and I loved the music and I loved the story. I loved The Wizard of Oz as a film, and just everything tied together was amazing. Two, there's something really unique and special about being in a show where you're allowed to do different things, or you've been given the opportunity to do
Oh yeah,
different
yeah,
to perform in an ensemble with such a tight, close-knit unit of people who all are excited to be there and want to dance and sing together, and we all create this great sense of community on stage is amazing. And then to play smaller supporting roles that really do serve the purpose of the story, even though the role might be small, it's so integral to the story, is amazing. And
yeah,
also to play the lead role is amazing. So it was just really special because it was probably the first time in my entire career where I had the opportunity to do so many different things, and still tick a box and say, wow, I got to
yeah.
play a dream role of mine, which was Elphaba, and singing Defying Gravity was something that I still to this day is unmatched. It's just the most empowering feeling as a woman in theatre,
Yeah,
singing
no, absolutely.
getting to fly at the same time. It's very, very
Nice.
cool.
I bet. What was that like flying? I bet at the
Oh,
beginning it was like, no,
so
I don't
much
like
fun.
this.
So much fun. And I was, again, as an understudy, really grateful I didn't have to do it every single day because sometimes you might have days where you go, oh, I don't feel like flying. And you think,
Yeah.
"Oh, goodness, I've only got to do the dancey track today. That's all right."
Can you imagine doing that flying if you're hungover or had like a heavy night before?
Well,
Oh.
exactly, exactly. Or as this Wicked Witch of the West character was obviously her entire skin was green, her whole body was green. So of course, having to put that makeup on every single day,
Yeah, of course.
harmful to the I don't know if it's harmful, but it must be quite a lot of strain and stress on the skin. So again, I was grateful I didn't have to do it every single day, but
Of course, yeah.
excited every time I did get the chance to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. So like when you started, who were your inspirations? What like who you watched and have they changed as you've got older or
Yes and no. I think you will always have people that you look up to when you're a child, and I think that kind of continues through life. For me, it was always Judy Garland, her daughter Liza Minnelli. These were actors that I watched in films growing up
yeah.
and was absolutely obsessed with. Barbara Streisand being another one. I loved listening to the likes of Donna Summer and Whitney Houston growing up as well, like disco and 80s pop, Celine Dion, 90s pop, all of that stuff was my realm, I suppose. And now you're probably guessing my age. I'm a kid of the 90s, so yeah, those were a lot of my influences. The Spice Girls I loved listening to growing up. I mean, but it does kind of change with age and with time. As I really delved more into theatre, I loved learning about, the different kind of actors in the Broadway community, such as Sutton Foster and Sherry Renee Scott, and and people actually over the course of time have continued to do what they do, but there have been people who've come and gone throughout that as
Yeah,
well. So now I look at, let's use the Broadway community as a perfect example. There are so many names I now see when I read these sort of blogs and things going, oh, I don't know who any of these actors are, but it's amazing that,
yeah,
there's a whole new group of people who are coming through and inspiring another generation of people to
absolutely.
get out there and do it. So it's cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
And for you, where does the love come from for all this life stuff?
Oh.
Is it?
Again, I think I take it back to storytelling. For me, it's just I loved the whole safe space where we could tell stories. I mean, as kids, myself and my sisters grew up in an environment in New Zealand where we didn't really, I mean, we watched films and a little bit of TV and whatnot, but we didn't really do much else. We didn't really use the internet and we didn't, kind of go out a lot. So we kind of just stayed at home, played lots of games with each other and had the back kind of garden to create sort of little theatrical performances with each other because that's what we did for fun.
Yeah.
Um, and didn't live close to many other, kids who we went to school with. So, of course, the fun had to be made amongst ourselves, between ourselves. And I think the love for performing kind of came from just enjoying it in at home in a safe space with my
Yeah.
with my family. I mean, I loved to perform for my grandparents when I was a kid as well. They used to babysit for me sometimes when my parents were working, and then they'd sing songs to me. They were Dutch as well, so we would try and speak a little bit of Dutch with each other and teach me Dutch songs, and then I'd start to teach them songs that I'd learned at school, and then do these little musical performances for them. And it was just a really cool and sweet thing that we used to do when I was growing up. And I think that was sort of the kind of catalyst that started my love for singing and acting and performing and telling these stories.
Is theatre in New Zealand and England quite different, or are they similar?
They are very, very different. I don't want to hate on the New Zealand
Do
theatre
it.
community, but if I'm being completely honest, there is very, very little going on. I grew up in Auckland, which is still the largest city in New Zealand. I want to say probably a quarter of the whole country's population live in Auckland City,
Oh wow.
New
Yeah.
Zealand. So it's a very large city. But in terms of the, live performance stuff, there's not really a lot going on there with that. I mean, they have lots of amateur societies and they have the occasional professional production that goes there and tours there. But aside from those, there's not a huge amount going on with live art. So yeah, it's kind of crazy actually that somehow along the line somewhere I just went, oh, that's what I'm going to do, and I stuck with
Yeah.
that, considering that there wasn't a lot when I was growing up. But again, I got really lucky. Like my family moved to Australia when I was 11 years old, and I wanted to stay on the sort of performing streak, and I kept attending choirs and local theatre communities and things like that, and just kind of stuck with it, and then into a performing arts high school, and the rest sort of went from there. And Australia does happen to have a really active theatre community, so it was very cool to sort of learn about how more people would be granted more theatrical opportunities over there,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's why it kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. But to you, why is live entertainment so important for you?
I think live entertainment's so important because it's something that only happens once. There's something really special about being in a room where you're able to witness or listen to something that is there and being produced only one time for all those people in that room. And you know, it's just it's a really unique thing to be a part of. Films are great, you know, screen and that kind of medium is fantastic, as are, you know, records, CDs, recordings, but when you're in a space that has a live element to it, you are getting to, I guess, experience it with all of your senses. And for that, you know, for that moment in time only. And I think that that is a really, really special thing to be a part of. It's a privilege to be a part of that because not
Oh yeah,
everybody in the
absolutely.
world gets that opportunity. Yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah. And like I've said, you've been all over the world performing, but have you got a dream venue you want to go to, or a dream gig, a dream show you'd love to be in still?
Oh, I mean, there are many, many shows that I would still love to be involved in and be a part of. Oh gosh, it's really hard to pick one. I don't know if I could pick one, to be honest. But some bucket list shows that are still up there for me are Les Miserables, just because I loved listening to the music growing up.
Yeah,
And in terms of a venue, truthfully, it would now be I've done a West End show, which was amazing. So now it would probably for me be Broadway, and it would be to
yeah,
perform in a Broadway theater and or somewhere really well renowned and prestigious like Carnegie Hall in New York City. Somewhere like
oh
that would
yeah,
be really special and really, really cool. Or the Radio City Music Hall or something like that. I mean, I could
yeah.
aim for the stars, maybe Madison Square Garden, you know, 700,000 people or whatever. But yeah, something like that would be really, really cool to experience.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And now, if you can go back to when you were growing up in New Zealand and Australia,
Mhm.
playing about to putting shows, if you can go back to them and give yourself one bit of advice, what would it be?
One bit of advice. Just keep doing you. That's what I'd say to
Yeah,
myself. And I would say that to anybody, you know, who wants to not just be involved in the arts, but just, you know, has a love for something or a passion for something. Just keep doing it. If you enjoy it, it brings you joy and you bring other
yeah,
people joy and you know, and you want to keep growing and learning, then keep at it. Because if somebody else is out there trying to bring you down or telling you, oh, you couldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be doing that, or you can't be doing that because of XYZ reasons, that's purely an insecurity within themselves, and they are
yeah.
projecting their insecurities on people, and that's just not very nice, not very fair. And sadly, there are a lot of haters out there, and I've experienced so much of
Oh
that.
yeah,
People telling me, you know, give up now, or you're never going to make a living or a career, or you're wasting your life away. And I'll say, cool, that's your opinion,
yeah.
because I'm
Thanks.
quite happy doing what I'm doing. And, you know, if it's not hurting anyone else and
Yeah.
if anything, bringing positive joy and energy to the world, why should I stop? And why should I care about what you think? I just want to try and lift people's spirits and bring people up and yeah, just make the world that little bit of a happier place to be
Oh,
in.
absolutely. And I think most, if not everyone in our industry, has been told that at some point, and we're going, no, you're never going to get anywhere. Stop it now. Going, no, I want
No,
to do it.
of course not, you know, and
No,
it's funny, like obviously we met doing pantomime, which
yeah.
is something I didn't grow up with. We don't have pantomime in Australia
No,
and
it's a very British thing. Yeah,
yeah, and I had this is actually really interesting kind of perspective. When I had moved to the UK and my goal was, you know, to keep doing theatre, musical theatre predominantly. One of the first, in fact, it was the second job I booked when I was in London, and it was a pantomime. And people said to me, "Oh, Tash, don't do that. That's career suicide. You've come all the way here and you're going to do pantomime." And I'm going, "Well, hang on, excuse me. Why are you trying to, I call this yucking the yum. Don't yuck my yum. You
yeah,
know, I
like
find it yummy,
that.
so stop yucking it." But when people kind of project their opinion and it's a negative opinion on something that you
Yeah,
happen to be so proud of, you know, that's only going to dampen people's perception of it and really bring people down. And I think it's sad that at least, you know, in some aspects of the theater industry, sadly, pantomime is not as respected. And I think that's
oh,
we need to
absolutely.
change that. You know, I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
wish that people would view it in a more positive light rather than saying, oh, well, it's only a panto. so what? It brings joy to so many people and makes theatre accessible basically to the majority of every corner of the United Kingdom. Because I can't think of a place in the UK that doesn't produce a Christmas pantomime, truthfully.
Yeah,
I think
ab-
every corner of the UK
absolutely.
has an outlet for at least a Christmas production, and normally it's a pantomime. I think that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I think there's still a few people, and when you say, "Oh, you do panto," they still think of, "Oh, a little village hall in the middle of nowhere." No, no, we do massive theatres,
Yeah,
massive production, a load of money behind it, and yeah,
yeah.
the
I
shows
mean,
we
we
do
do,
are
but
mental.
but that's just one level, right? And that's just one
Yeah,
scale. I mean, there are smaller community productions of pantomime, or there are productions in the middle that might be, let's say, a touring pantomime. It might have a
yeah,
small set or a smaller cast, but then they get to tour around the country and go to different places. Or it might be the massive, big, full-scale production that's got millions of pounds poured into it, and
yeah,
it's the biggest incredible spectacle you'll ever see, like possibly the London Palladium or something like that.
yeah.
It can be on any level of the scale, but I think it's amazing that we have that as a form of entertainment here.
And
Yeah.
what was the first panto you did over here then?
Funnily enough, it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, was it the one that we met at? Was that your first one?
No, it was not.
Oh,
I did a production of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They were then called Kudos Entertainment, and they're
oh
now
yeah,
called
yeah, I know who you're on about.
Crossroads. Yep.
Yeah,
And it was at Darlington Hippodrome, which is up north. Beautiful theatre. In fact,
yeah.
I felt very privileged to do that production because it was the reopening of the Darlington Hippodrome after, I want to say, 5 or 6 years the theatre had been shut. They were
Oh
renovating
wow.
it and revamping it. And yeah, and I got to do this big reopening and played Snow White, and it was really, really special. It was very cool.
Yeah, but now we work for the same company, Evolution. Hopefully, we'll get to work together again one day. Fingers
I
crossed.
hope so.
Yeah,
I've loved working for Evolution. I think they're such a fantastic family feel production company,
oh,
and
absolutely.
they really, really do look after people, and produce such wonderful productions, and make everybody feel like they are part of something really special, which they are. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and both of us have worked with the great man, Mr. Will Kenning, who was on the last episode
Yes.
of this. He was one of the greatest people. He's amazing, that man is.
He is. He is. Will is such a genius, really. He's got such a vision for what he, wants to see come to life on stage,
Yeah.
and such a smart man. He knows everything about the world, I find. I just think he's one of those people you can chat to for ages and you can just get lost in a conversation about something completely different to what the conversation might have started about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
he's wonderful. He's
absolutely,
wonderful.
yeah. So what's next for you? What have you got coming up for you?
I'm gigging at the moment, so I'm really like getting into my gigs. I guess for people who don't really know what that is singing a lot of music and kind of performing in sort of smaller or intimate venues. So a lot of the time I'll go and perform cover songs. Sometimes it's pop music, sometimes it's jazz, sometimes it's a bit of musical theatre, opera, even a bit of classical. Depending on what the gig is, it could be singing at
Yeah.
someone's wedding, I could be singing at a birthday party, I could be singing in a cabaret, it could be like in a nightclub. Sometimes I get the really random gigs. I sang at a dog fashion show convention once. That was really random. There were dogs being paraded down a runway in little costumes, and I happened to be singing at that. So
Please tell me you sang How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
I wish I'd sang "Who Let the Dogs Out" by the Baha Men, but no. So it's
What
random.
did you sing at that one?
Oh, a bunch of random songs, really. What did I sing? I think I sang some sort of pop jazz, like a lot of
Oh,
Michael
God.
Bublé style covers and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. That's what they wanted. That was what the client had recommended. So, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. That's what they paid me to do.
Yeah, well, as long as you're getting paid.
You know what? And having fun. And if the
Yeah,
client is happy and I give them exactly what they've asked for, then I
yeah.
can't complain. I'm having a good time, they're having a good time, and the guests have a good time. So Yeah, and I'm also back to auditioning. So a lot, I mean, since the pantomime, um, a lot of the times what happens in the UK is auditions get very, very busy in January, February time. Um, for me, it's actually been quite quiet, but only because I went and took a holiday to New Zealand because my sister's just got married, so I've been
Oh,
spending time in New Zealand celebrating her wedding, and now I'm back and back to square one, auditioning, gigging,
yeah.
getting it all in. Yeah, it's been really fun so far this year. Can't wait to see what
Thinking,
comes
when
up.
can I get back to New Zealand?
Not for a while. I've been twice in the last 4 months, so that's a lot of traveling
Yeah.
forth on those 32 hour journeys.
Clinic.
And honestly, the jet lag, it never gets any
I can
easier, I tell
imagine.
you. It never gets easier. It never gets easier. Every time I think, oh, I've got this down pat, I'm going to be fine, I'm going to be fine. And then I get to the other end and I'm like, oh, falling asleep in the middle of the day. You know what I mean?
As long as you didn't fall asleep during the wedding, did you? As long as you didn't do that.
Absolutely not. No,
No.
thankfully not.
That, yeah,
Thankfully
that
not.
could have been awkward.
Yeah. Yes, it would have been. It's like, oh, do you take this person to be your husband or wife? And I'm like, wow, she's the most bored wedding guest we've ever had. No.
And finally, where can people find you? Where can they find you online and stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, Google. You can Google my name. I've got a website, which is natashahoeberigs.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Am I on Twitter, now known as X? I think I am, but I don't really use it. So
No, I
don't
don't.
bother looking there. You'll probably see a post from 2017. Um, where else am I? Yeah, YouTube. I've put a few videos out on YouTube. So yeah, just Google's your friend. If you search my
Yeah.
name, you'll find all of the links and all of the handles there.
I'll put a link down to your website in the description of this below. So if you
Hey,
want to go
thank
check out, go
you.
and check it out. But thank you so much for being on this podcast. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you
on
for
this
having
your
me,
time.
George.
At
Thank
any time,
you.
you know. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're now on Spotify. This is now going out on Spotify as well. So make sure you follow me there and join me next time. We'll be chatting to more mates from the world of entertainment. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.